So Justin and Kyle, we haven't spoken since that TLC post show, and obviously a lot has happened since then in the world of professional wrestling. We're going to have a lot to talk about with the awards, but before we get to that, we need to touch on a somber subject that hit the wrestling world in the last few days. I had a chance to speak about this on Sunday night when I joined our friend Zach Haydorn on the Pro Wrestling Torch Wrestling Night in America live show and podcast, but this is the first time Kyle and Justin have had a chance to react to the news of Brodie Lee's passing, which really shocked us on Saturday. So obviously it's been a gut-wrenching couple of days, and Justin, as you had a chance to look back on Jon Huber's career, anything you'd like to say in remembrance of Mr. Brodie Lee, a.k.a. Luke Harper?
I just think it says a lot when you look at, the outpouring of love for him, that it's bits and pieces of what a great worker he was, but everybody, and you don't always get this when a wrestler passes away. It might just be what a legend, one of the greatest workers of all, something along that lines, but everyone that he has touched, it's all about what a great person he was, what a great father, and what a great husband. And yeah, not that this is some sort of weird competition, but this one has probably hit me the hardest since Owen Hart passed away, if only because of those reasons. And not only that, but, selfishly as a fan, it felt like he was finally getting his due as a talent. 2020 was probably his best in-ring year as a professional wrestler. So yeah, it's really freaking sad to lose that talent, and more importantly, to lose that person.
I would agree with you on 2020. I think that he was really just kind of starting to own that role in the Dark Order with Mr. Brodie Lee. In-ring wise, 2020 and 2014, I think, are his best years in the ring from what we saw, at least on a national stage. And Zach and I talked a lot about that, some of his great matches that he had over the years. And, certainly his last match, the dog collar match with Cody on Dynamite, ended up being the last match of his career, was a hell of an outing. What a way to go out.
And just talking about 2020, it can't be understated what he did for the Dark Order, because that thing was just crashing big time before he got there. Mm-hmm. And he brought the right kind of humor and seriousness to that group.
Yeah. You can you can see the outpouring of love, from everyone in that group over the last few days has been really touching to see as well.
Absolutely. And if you're out there and you haven't, you really need to go back and watch a lot of that Being the Elite stuff that they did. Was just the best stuff.
The tribute show they did was really good, where they showed a lot of those clips. Yeah. Kyle, your thoughts?
That bit where they had Trent's mom on, and she threw the paper, and but she threw it really shitty.
Missed,
it was like an awful throw. Like, it was one of the honest to God worst throws of paper you've ever seen in life. And he cracked up, he broke character. That is like a really funny thing. Yep. To kind of piggyback off some of the things Justin just said, look, wrestling is why we're all here, obviously. But, in the grand scheme of things, this is a person who died at Christmas time that was a husband, a father. That's horrible. We're all husbands and father. That's just awful. Mm-hmm. Wrestling or not. And, I remember Saturday night, all of a sudden I look at my phone, I was on a Zoom call with some buddies, and all of a sudden I look at there's just a ton of messages. Like, what is this? And I look at, and my jaw just dropped, and I said, no. I can't remember if I saw Justin's first or my buddy Jim. I just went to Twitter, and you see your Twitter feed is like 30 people retweeting and reacting to the AEW tweet. And it is just a horrible, horrible thing to see someone who bet on himself, and like you guys said, was featured as prominently on a national level as he ever had been. He was in the prime of his career. Again, you could take wrestling out of the equation. This is someone who was in the prime of their professional career. Obviously, wrestling is why we're all here, but and the sky appeared to be the limit, and and now he's gone, and it's just a horrible, horrible thing. But yeah, it was, the outpouring of support says a lot about him. I mean, I think, in passing, that's always the measure of a man, is what, those who left behind say about you. And it was just, it's shocking to see something like that, a guy that young and just out of the blue like that. It's horrible. And I hope the best for his family and everyone that knew him.
Yeah, 41 years old, young wife, 2 young boys. Just really, really sad stuff. And
I mean, that's our age.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Obviously nobody knew about what was going on behind the scenes. We've kind of learned a little bit over the last couple of days that, he had been having these issues with his lungs for a while. Last we knew, he was out with like an ankle injury, I think. But AEW
the plan was for him to be off TV for a while to sell everything. But and I feel terrible because, it was a couple weeks ago. I was like, what happened to Brodie Lee? Are they going to like touch on that? And then, it's just, you never know. It's just you talk about 2020, what a terrible year is. And this is just like really just like the shittiest possible way for a shitty year to end in the wrestling world, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think when you look at the outpouring of love and all the stories being told and everything, to me the only thing that it's similar, like when Owen Hart passed away, and maybe Eddie a little bit as well. I mean, that's the only other times I think I've heard or seen such a massive outpouring of just all these great stories. You can tell how much the guy meant to everybody. And by the time you guys hear this show, it will have already aired. We haven't seen it yet because we're recording on Tuesday night, but the AEW Dynamite tomorrow night should be a really emotional show.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to watching it, but it's going to be a gut-wrenching watch, I think. And his son Brodie Jr. was instrumental in putting this card together and the matches that he wanted to see, which I think is AEW has all the way, done right by his family so far in what we've seen. And that's really good
cool.
to see. Yeah.
That's really cool of Tony Khan to do that.
Yeah. So this is going to be a really special show. We're looking forward to it. But, we wanted to talk about, it's difficult to talk about. Justin's raising a shot right now. I'm going to raise my glass. There we go. Mr. Brodie Lee himself. Rest in peace. We're going to miss him.
Ooh.